Hey there, and welcome back to the Hey Kayla podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Evans, and I just got back from my all-time favorite thing, which is taking an early morning walk down a crunchy gravel road. And it's my favorite thing for a couple of reasons. Mostly right now, this time of year, we are in the early part of July, and it is unbelievably, scorchingly, dangerously hot during the day. Very humid, very sticky, very gross. And I have a pretty thick pit bull. So we like to get out very early in the morning when it's still cool. But it's really one of my all-time favorite things that I'm doing now that I'm living out in the country because it is so fresh and quiet. It smells so nice out there. It's still a little bit dewy. Nobody else is out there. It's just me and my pit bull, my rescue boy, Todd. It is just the perfect place and the perfect time to think. And while I was out walking this morning down the same gravel roads that I used to run on when I was back in high school, when I was training for track and field or cross country, I love that. Oh, I just love that so much. Some thoughts floated into my head about how I just can't believe I'm here. But instead of bawling my eyes out like I've done over the last several weeks, thanks to just sheer gratitude and happiness, I started thinking instead about the changes that I had to make to get to this place. And I'm not talking about the actual move itself, the packing, the unpacking, the selling, that sort of thing. What I'm talking about is changing the thoughts that were freaking me the F out. And for a little while, were actually keeping me stuck where I was. How I had to work pretty hard, honestly, at times to rewrite them for myself because there were a lot of scary thoughts floating around in my head. But there were three in particular that continued to haunt me big time. Those are the ones that I really had to do the work on and deal with them so that I could move forward. So if you know the story, if you read my last blog, if you listened to my last podcast episode, I think I've mentioned it before. When I first got that nudge to move or move on, I did what I always do, right? I called my mama. Anything big, small, doesn't matter. I call the mama. It's like my default thing. I saw this meme once. So actually somebody had sent it to me and it's this girl and the text under it's like calling my mama over every small inconvenience ever. Yeah, pretty much that's me 100%. So I was journaling one morning. I had that download, I'm ready to get out of here, called her. I really excitedly babbled about how I was ready to leave the big city, head back out to the country. I was pumped. But when I got off the phone with her, I went back to my journaling. I started getting flooded with really crappy thoughts that really bothered me. And I actually had a ton of fears bubbling up about making this move. And at first, those thoughts stopped me from even taking a single step in that direction. So I want to share them with you here today, the top three big ones, and then how I overcame them and how you can use some of my tips and tricks to overcome some of your limiting beliefs or your shitty thoughts that you might be having, especially if you find yourself on the edge of making a move. So thought number one, I thought, holy shit, this is going to be a lot of hard work. Hard work. Now, I'm not afraid of hard work. If you know me, you know that. I run my own company. I'm an entrepreneur. That is hard as hell. I'm a professional speaker, so I routinely get up in front of thousands of people and talk to them. I've also lived on my own for a really long time, which means I'm responsible for everything. I pay the mortgage. I do all the housework. I take care of all the repairs. I do everything on my own for the most part. So I do hard stuff all the time. It's also just one of my values, I guess you could call it, my values in life. I want to continuously grow and stretch and improve. And that means getting out of your comfort zone, right? But the sheer thought of adding more to my plate when I was already doing the most, or I already felt like I was doing the most, that scared the hell out of me. I knew that I'd be finishing up renovation projects. I'd have to do some repainting. I'd have to find and interview a realtor, and that just stressed me out. I had to deal with lawyers and offers and all of that. That's what scared me, right? All that hard work, not the actual change itself, but adding all that work to an already swamped schedule and my already swamped bandwidth, right? That freaked me out. So what helped? What I did was I shared that fear out loud. I said it out loud. I told my mom, obviously, my dad, my friends, my aunt and uncle, who I love and trust, they are my second parents. And you know what happened? They all stepped up in whatever way they could. And they all took a chunk of that hard work off of my shoulders. My mom, I know I've said this before, she runs a store that they sell like home stuff. So like flooring, vinyl, plank, hardwood, tile, paint, window coverings, carpet, all of that kind of stuff. So she helped me with a painting. Her coworker, who's a contractor, great guy, he came and did some of the jobs that I couldn't do on my own. My aunt and uncle, they came with their 18-foot trailer. They helped me pack. They helped me move. My dad, he helped me settle into my new place. My friends, my beautiful, wonderful friends who I love so much, came and helped me go through my closet and took a bunch of clothes off my hands for me. It was incredible. Like, that's the kind of stuff that brings tears to your eyes. And it was so freeing for me to know that when I leaned on the people in my life who I loved, who loved me, they showed up for me. They made that hard work way less hard. And I just felt so loved in the process. So if you're facing something and you're afraid of the hard work, or you're telling yourself, I don't know how, that's a really common one for a lot of my clients that I work with. I just don't know how. Ask yourself how you can make that load lighter. How can you ask someone else? Because it is more than okay to lean on others. It is more than okay to ask other people for their help, for their knowledge, for their expertise, for their advice. You don't have to do everything on your own, like at all. So there you go. Okay. Thought number 2. And this one was really heavy for me. I should just be grateful for what I have. I should just be grateful for what I have. Yeah. Especially since I had worked so damn hard for that city house. I had literally manifested it. Like, I journaled about it years before. I still have that. I still have all my journals, but I still have that journal. Down to the exact layout, the floor plan, the yard, the old trees in the neighborhood. Like, I journaled and worked hard and manifested this baby. It was everything I had ever wanted. It was beautiful. And I did feel lucky to live there, like every single day. Every single day when I woke up, the sunlight streaming into the room was beautiful. Every single time I came home, it was just, this is my place, right? So when I started feeling that urge to leave, I also started feeling guilty. Like I was being ungrateful for wanting something else, right? And that little voice, like, it was so loud. Why would you give this up? Just be thankful for what you have. What the hell's wrong with you? Like, that ran on a loop for me daily. It was not cute. So what helped me actually kick that thought to the curb was meditation. Specifically, I use the Empower You Unlimited audio app from Hay House. This is not sponsored, but I highly, highly recommend it. It's one of those apps that I use every single day, multiple times a day. So I started doing a bunch of meditations that guided me to be grateful for what I had while still working towards what I wanted, right? I listened to the ones about change, about how it's okay to evolve, about how if you never change, you never would have learned how to walk or drive or cook your own food. And one of my favorites, it phrased a bunch of phrases, but it essentially said, we're supposed to grow. Like, as human beings, it's our nature to progress and evolve. And that reminder took a huge amount of pressure off. It let me know that I wasn't the only one who felt this way. Obviously, like, they're doing these recordings for not just Kayla. Like, I'm not the only one that feels this way. And it also let me know that it's totally normal to want more. Like, I wasn't a freak. I wasn't ungrateful. I wasn't being a brat. I can still want more and still be grateful for what I have. And honestly, the more grateful you are for what you have, the more good will come into your life. Like, I don't know if that's a Abraham Hicks. I don't know if that's a Louise Hay original, but maybe Gabby Bernstein. But I heard that from somebody and it's always stuck with me. I just, sometimes need a reminder of it. The more grateful you are, the more gratitude you have, attitude of gratitude, the more good you're going to call into your life. So meditation, that's what got me through that. And this nasty guy. Thought number 3. Who do I think I am taking over a property like this? Also known as, what will people think? Ugh, gross. Like, I just want to drink water after saying that. What will people think? I hate this one. I don't use hate very often, but I do hate this one. And this one actually surprised the hell out of me because I deal with this every day, all day with my clients. Fear of judgment, fear of being seen, fear of not being liked, like being judged. That's literally the biggest fear that people come to me with when it comes to public speaking. Even if they come to me with, they think it's something else, like, oh, I don't know how to write, or, oh, I don't know how to, put emotion and inflection in my voice. it always boils down to what will people think of me. So I was kind of mad. Like, seriously? Like, there's no way that I should be, not that I think I'm better than anybody. See, there it is. What will people think? It's human nature, right? But I was pretty upset with myself because I know how to overcome this. I, again, coach people on this all of the time. So after doing some journaling, which is always my go-to, I remembered something. Well, journaling maybe with a mix of a little meditation in there, a little quiet time with my soul. I remembered and realized that I've kind of always had like this little chip on my shoulder about coming off as bragging. And I think I've talked about this on the podcast before. I trace it back to this moment when I was crossing the street a long time ago, and this car full of girls pulled up and yelled, "Hey, TV bitch." Like, that stuck with me. And they weren't like, "Oh, hey, bitch." Like, you know how like girls call each other the B word and like it's a term of endearment? Nah, it wasn't like that. It was like, F you. We don't like you. We think you're shit. Like, it really hurt me. And apparently that moment's just like lodged itself into my subconscious. And it just left me feeling like if I promote myself in any way, somebody's going to think I'm full of myself or think that I'm the greatest thing ever, right? Like if I share an accomplishment or if I even post a selfie. And I've done a lot of work to let that go. I definitely did a podcast episode on that, and I will link it in the show notes. But this stinking thing, like, it still crops up every once in a while. And it cropped up when I was starting this new chapter, especially when I wanted to share about starting this new chapter. And I felt like a little bit icky at first. I felt like I was over here, like typing my Instagram captions and recording my podcast and writing my blog saying like, "Oh, look at me with my one beautiful dream home, but I'm not totally happy in it because I'm a Bradicus Butticus. So I'm just going to go buy another dream home." Like, that's gross, right? That made me so freaking uncomfortable. But what helped me get through it, other than, to be fair, I did re-listen to my own podcast episode. What's the saying? Get high on your own supply, right? Other than that, I tapped on it a lot, like EFT, emotional freedom technique tapping. I tapped on the fact that I am allowed to do whatever the hell I want, that it's my life, that this is my journey, and I'm on my way to become my favorite version of myself, and I only have to please me. I had to do it a couple times, let me tell you, on and off for several weeks, if not months. And yeah, saying things like that, it can feel a little sticky if you're like me or somebody who's in the business of helping people, right? Like, we work, we write, we create, we serve, we want to help people with our gifts. So it can feel kind of weird to say, "Oh, I'm doing this just for me," but it's necessary. At the end of the day, we are doing this for ourselves. You do have to put yourself first. So I just tapped and told myself, the more I share, the more I let others know what's possible for them too. And at the end of the day, like, if somebody wants to misunderstand me, if they really don't know my heart and they don't know me and they just assume I'm being braggy, then like, those are not my people, and I'm just not for those people, and that is okay. So those are the nasty ones. And I seriously cannot tell you how freaking happy I am that I didn't let those thoughts stop me. Like, yeah, they tripped me up for a bit, and yeah, I had to do the inner work, like personal development. If you're in this space, I'm assuming you are because you're listening to this podcast. It is ongoing, right? Like, it's spiritual health. You go to the gym, not just for 6 months and you're like, "Yeah, I'm awesome, I'm ripped, I got this." No, you continue to go, right? You continue to work on it. That's not my analogy. I've heard it a million times, but it's so true. And it's so worth it. And if I can do it, I know you can do it too. That's also a cliche, but I mean, that is very, very true. Because overcoming these thoughts, it moved me way closer to becoming my favorite version of myself. And that is always my goal, right? Like, that's always my guiding light. And there's one more thing I want to leave you with, although this has kind of been a long one so far. When these thoughts popped up, I also reminded myself, that's just my ego or my subconscious trying to keep me safe. That's all it is. And because I remembered that, I stayed gentle with myself. I didn't really, truly deep down believe all of those thoughts, even though on the surface level I did. Because if you're already feeling bad, beating yourself up for feeling bad is only going to make you feel worse, right? So I pushed myself in a really gentle, sweet way, not a shove you to the ground and kick you kind of way, right? Journaling, meditating, tapping, asking my loved ones for help, all gentle ways to move forward, and they totally worked. So give it a shot, because you deserve to be treated like the absolute beauty you are. So last week in the podcast and blog, I asked, Are you on the edge of making a change? But maybe something's holding you back. Well, this week, I want you to take it one step further. What thoughts are holding you back? Like specifically, what are the thoughts? Can you name them? What's holding you back? What are you telling yourself about it maybe not being the right time, or I don't know how? There's always something underneath that, right? What are you really, truly freaked out about? Because let me tell you, back in November, I had no idea this would be my life. Like I was on realtor.ca every day, just dreaming of these country properties, but I never thought I would end up in the truly perfect place, in the truly perfect way, at the truly perfect time. And when I say perfect, I mean perfect for me, perfect for my favorite version of myself, because you don't have to have it all figured out. And you don't have to be so damn tough on yourself, and you don't have to do it alone, ever. So please take some time this week, journal, sit, meditate with yourself, and just think, what do you want? What's keeping you from going after it? And then what story can you rewrite, right? Right, as in correct. What limiting thoughts can you flip? Can you rewrite? So if this episode sparks something for you, you can DM me on Instagram. I'm there at Hey Kayla. You can also email me anytime. I'm info@heykayla.com. And please share this with a friend if you know somebody who's navigating their own big changes. And with that, I'll talk to you soon, and I hope you have the best week.